So what do folks need to do? I mean, reach out to our congressional representatives and let them know this is BS for our brothers and sisters. Look, there's plenty of groups out there that are loud. We need to be a loud group. I'm sorry. And we need to take care of our brothers and sisters, even if it doesn't necessarily affect us. I'm of the belief, look, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem right. You shouldn't treat a combat veteran who's filing for disability compensation this way because he took a $10,000 we need you to get out of the military little bonus bump. I think it's a slap in the face. I think it's dirty, and I think that it's just a bad look. So I mean, my thought is people need to bring awareness as a bigger group, right? Not just those affected, but all of us, to get something like this taken seriously. What do you think, Randy?
Yeah, apples to oranges. I agree. It's a frustrating article to read. I don't even like going through these because it's we got to get the information out there. That's part of what we do here on Veterans Preference. But I take no joy in these articles. Apples to oranges. You have two different things going on. You don't have a statute of limitations, and frankly, I don't think that this should be a priority for the VA. They're missing over $660 million from the program integrity tool right now that funds have not flown through. That's been going on for the last couple of years. Until they get their own house in order, they shouldn't be going after disabled vets to recoup money. And their house is not in order. So, let's prioritize, go after the big chunks of money, and then let's let Congress figure this out when they get back to DC in September. But yeah, this it's a dirty, just a dirty all the way around. And you know what, McDonough? This is one of those things that as a, secretary, as a cabinet level individual, you should be bringing to Congress's attention. I know you're not part of the legislative branch, but you can certainly give them feedback on things that aren't working for your department or for those that your department serves. So haven't heard a whole lot from him on this, and hopefully we do after this video.
Look, there's lots of laws that people choose not to enforce in this country. Immigration law, all kind of law. So why enforce this one? Now, I get the folks at the VA are just doing their job, but obviously not everybody in the VA knows what their job is because these things have been slipping through for years and years and years. And again, this lumping of anything that's called a benefit, prohibition against the duplication of benefits. When you're talking about benefits that have nothing to do with each other, it's just punishment. It's ridiculous. So whether somebody volunteered to get out and they got a little something for it, or they were told, hey, sorry, we don't need you anymore, and they got something for it, does it really matter? No, it doesn't matter, because that agreement is beneficial, certainly to one side. On the involuntary side, the Army or the Navy or the Marines have to downsize, and they're going to do it whether people want to be downsized or not. But then when you have the voluntary programs, that can be mutually beneficial, but still, lumping that as it's severance pay. We came to an agreement. I'm leaving. You don't have to pay me anymore. Why is that being held against me when I'm going in to do my what I rightfully earned in my disability claims? So none of this makes any sense, whether it's the reservist involuntary separation pay, the special separation benefit, the voluntary separation pay, the disability severance pay, the non-disability severance pay, the separation pay under 10 USC 1174, or whatever the million things that where these laws come from, who knows? But come on, man. This was just remember do they have that on ESPN? Come on, man. This is just stupid. Fix it. And I would think that McDonough, if he is, anyone who cares about this community, could write a letter of intent and say, cease and desist this until we figure out the right solution. Let's not hurt our veterans. This is just in their families. This is ridiculous. And that whole statute of limitations is, that's another thing that gets you fired up. If you looked at what the statute of limitations was for other things on the books, the fact that they could just come and start taking away money out of your pocket through a different agency even.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that goes back to Randy's point of the apples and oranges. It's just funny that it was an apple that gave you that, but the orange wants it back. It's just weird. So this is a really long article. I'm going to jump through to kind of this last section of it that's got a kind of a subtitle here, and the subtitle is unique exceptions to the law. So I'm going to read through this and see if we can figure out anything and be able to share it with you. So veterans have a chance to pursue a waiver of their recruitment responsibilities for only certain special separations benefits under the law. Even then, the standards are high and have been confusing. Of course, they're confusing. Why wouldn't they be confusing? To get a waiver for voluntary, which is not what we were talking about, but for voluntary separations pay, the VA said the secretary of the applicable branch of service must determine that recovery would be significantly or would be against equity and good conscience or would be contrary to the best interests of the United States. So I'm not quite sure how you prove that. It's whatever.
I love the next sentence.
Yeah, at least yeah, go for it.
Have been granted so far, officials said.
At least 6, Chris, over decades. Yeah, pretty nice. So the Air Force said some of its members signed erroneous statements of understanding when they separated from active duty between 2007 and 2014. The paperwork incorrectly told them recruitment would be waived if they subsequently became eligible for disability compensation. Air Force spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Erica Yepsen said. What? The paperwork incorrectly, wouldn't that hold weight? If I signed some contract saying that it told me in that paperwork that recruitment would be waived if they subsequently became eligible for disability compensation benefits, they can't go, oh, we messed up.
But even so, like you're sitting across from a table and your job's going away. You think that's the time to have them read all the fine print? Okay,
No.
so you probably give them a little bit of time. And I mean, honestly, I got aches and pains and ailments popping up now 25 years after service that I wouldn't have even thought of at the time that I'm signing a paper. I'm just trying to get the hell out of there because you don't want me. Fine. I'll go work somewhere else, whatever. But again, it's you're withholding a severance pay. You're withholding disability pay based upon the acceptance of a severance. It just doesn't jive.
It's weird. Now check this out. We all make fun of the Air Force, unless you're in the Air Force, and then you just know that you're in probably the best choice. They're probably the best choice. I mean, for longevity and all of that. Geez. So
and air conditioning and food.
Just for look, right? I mean, look, we all make fun, but then it's like secretly we're like, man, that would have been nice, right? God, that would have been nice. I'll tell you, I was in the Marine Corps. I was in the Army National Guard. I told my oldest son, you got to join the Air Force. That's where you got to go. That's the smart move. Make the smart play, right? So here's another, if you needed more proof that the Air Force is probably the most beneficial, the Air Force had also approved a waiver, the Air Force said it has granted at least 5. Remember, you said there was like 6 or 7 or something, right? So the Air Force said it granted at least 5 waivers to veterans affected by the error since fiscal year 2016. The year the Air Force said it changed how it tracked its data. It denied 17 others. So it's still, you got a 30% chance, which is pretty good so far. So, but in those 5 cases that they granted, Yepsen said it was determined that waiving recruitment was in keeping with equity and good conscious standards. Good. The Air Force also approved a waiver request for a 6th veteran based upon the individual's disability precluding them from earning income, Yepsen said. At least you can request those through them. Now remember though that it's a certain type of benefit. It's voluntary separations pay is the one that you can request those waivers on. Moving on, the Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard said they are not aware of anyone who has requested a waiver for recruitment. In 2023, the Navy authorized reducing the amount of disability pay that was withheld while voluntary separation pay is recouped. Navy spokesperson, whoever, Charlie Spiritos, said. Moving on, the Army did not respond to requests for comment. Advocates say the law not only blindsides veterans, yes, I agree, but it robs them of earned benefits that should not be linked financially. Back to the apples and oranges thing. While special separations pay is based on the service member's military career and calculated by years of active duty, disability pay solely relates to illnesses or injuries sustained during service, according to Marquise Bearfield, an assistant national legislative director with DAV, an advocacy group formerly known as Disabled American Veterans. The two payments have nothing to do with each other, Bearfield said. They are two separate buckets of money. Veterans have had an average of $19,700 to $53,000 withheld for recruitment from 2013 to 2020, according to a study published in 2022 by the RAND Corporation, a nonprofit research group. In 2022, Rep. Gallego introduced a bill. So in 2022, there was a bill introduced by Gallego that would change the recruitment law, but legislative process has been slow. It is costly, he said, and that's kind of been the biggest hindrance on why I can't get it through. Again, voices. The more of us that are loud, right, the more that there might be action. Final thoughts from you, Chris. We'll kick it over to Randy.
All this recoupment is bad for recruitment. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would people join the military after hearing all these horror stories about the failing of the promises to look after you when you serve? It's just now all companies have issues. Large companies especially have more issues because more people. Like, this is just it's nuts. It's silly, and it's something that's going to sour. Have we met our recruiting goals this year or recently? You know, I don't like. Let's keep stabbing ourselves in the foot on our recruitment goals. Like, it's not hard enough. Now, we shouldn't just give people money and not expect to pay it back if they should be paying it back. But that's a lot different, right? That's a lot. You give somebody a retention bonus and they go AWOL, let's go get that money back. That's just a lot different. And I can't believe this isn't getting more press. Now, again, it's less than 150,000 people in 30 years, but it's still a pretty big deal. It's a breach of trust. It's like, how often do we have to talk about how much trust matters when you're signing up to put your life on the line? And they're completely unavoidable. They're completely avoidable. So I don't know. Recruitment, unwise recruitment is bad for recruitment, or whatever I just said a few minutes ago. That actually sounded pretty cool.
I can't say it any better than that. Back to you, Jason.
Chris wins. Yeah, done. Chris, you're the winner. Good job. Recoupment is bad for recruitment. I like it. So with that, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you so very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.